Ever feel like you're running on a hamster wheel, working 12-hour days but still falling behind your goals? It feels like no matter how hard you hustle, you're just not making progress. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. You're probably just chopping wood with a dull axe. But what if I told you that in the next few minutes, you could learn a secret to sharpen your blade so effectively that you could achieve in 2 hours what used to take you 10? Stick with me, because this isn't just a productivity hack. It's a fundamental shift in how you approach your work and your life. Let me tell you a quick story. There was a chopping contest between two woodcutters. One was a young, strong, and incredibly ambitious guy. The other was an older master, wise from years of experience. The whistle blew, and the young man started swinging his axe with incredible force and speed. He didn't stop for a single second, determined to win through sheer effort. He was sweating, his muscles were burning, but he just kept chopping, hour after hour. Meanwhile, the older man worked at a steady, calm pace, but every hour, like clockwork, he would stop, sit down for 10 minutes, and then get back to it. The young man scoffed, thinking, he's taking breaks. I've got this in the bag. But when the day ended, everyone was stunned. The older man had chopped more than twice as much wood as the young, tireless competitor. The young man was completely baffled. He went up to the master and said, "How is this possible? I worked non-stop. I didn't take a single break, and I'm stronger than you. I never even saw you stop working to rest." The old master smiled and replied gently, "But I did stop. Every time I sat down, I wasn't resting. I was sharpening my axe." This story perfectly illustrates one of the biggest myths of our time, the myth of the hustle. We're constantly told that the only way to succeed is to grind 24/7, to work harder and longer than everyone else. We wear busyness like a badge of honor. We see people on social media posting about their rise and grind at 5 a.m., working through weekends, and sacrificing sleep for success. And we think that's the only way. But this culture of constant work, of always chopping, is a trap. It leads to burnout, exhaustion, and ironically, diminished results. You end up like the young woodcutter, putting in maximum effort for minimal output. All because your tool, your axe, is getting duller with every swing. Your axe, in this case, is your mind, your skills, and your focus. So, if non-stop hustling isn't the answer, what is? It's sharpening your axe. But what does that actually look like in our modern lives? It's not about taking lazy breaks. It's about strategic, intentional skill building. Sharpening your axe means taking dedicated time away from the chopping to improve your abilities. This could be anything from reading a book in your field, taking an online course to learn a new software, watching tutorials to master a new technique, or even attending a workshop. It's about investing in your most valuable asset, you. The time you spend learning a new programming language, mastering public speaking, or getting better at data analysis isn't time wasted. It's the highest leverage activity you can do. Each new skill makes your axe sharper, allowing you to cut through problems faster and more efficiently than ever before. Let me ask you something. Just pause for a moment and be honest with yourself. When was the last time you consciously set aside time to learn a new skill? Not just passively scrolling or consuming content, but actively, intentionally trying to get better at something that will help you in your career or personal life. If it's been a while, don't worry. Most people are in the same boat, stuck on the hamster wheel of just doing the work. But recognizing this is the first step to changing it. The very act of scheduling time to learn is the beginning of sharpening your axe. This brings me to a powerful mental model that completely changed how I work. The 80-20 rule, also known as the Pareto principle. It states that, for many outcomes, roughly 80% of the results come from 20% of the effort. When you're working with a dull axe, you're re-spending 100% of your time in the low-impact, 80% of effort that only produces 20% of the results. You're swinging wildly, exhausting yourself for a tiny pile of wood. But when you sharpen your axe, you start to identify and focus on that critical 20% of activities that deliver 80% of the value. Learning a new skill might feel like you're stepping away from the real work, but it's actually the most critical part of that 20%. It's the work that makes all the other work easier. By mastering a new automation tool, for example, you might spend 5 hours learning it, but it could save you an hour every single day for the rest of the year. That's an incredible return on investment. So, how do we put this into practice? It's simple. You need to schedule mastery time. This is non-negotiable. Protected time in your calendar, dedicated solely to sharpening your axe. It could be 1 hour every day, a half day every Friday, or whatever works for you. The key is to treat it with the same seriousness as your most important client meeting. During this time, you turn off notifications, close your email, and focus entirely on learning. No multitasking, no quick check-ins. This is your time to invest in yourself. What you choose to learn depends on your goals. Do you want to be a better leader? Read books on management and psychology. Want to grow your online business? Take a course on digital marketing. Want to be a more efficient programmer? Practice coding challenges. The act of setting aside this time and defending it from the chaos of daily life is the habit that separates the amateurs from the masters. It's what separates the exhausted young woodcutter from the wise, productive old one. Think back to our story. The young man saw the old master's breaks as a weakness, a sign of laziness. He completely misjudged the situation because he was only focused on the visible act of chopping. He couldn't see the invisible high-impact work that was happening during those breaks. The sharpening was the secret. And at the end of the day, the result was undeniable. The master didn't win because he was stronger or worked longer. He won because he worked smarter. He understood that his effectiveness wasn't just about effort, but about the condition of his tool. He knew that a few minutes of sharpening could multiply his output for the next hour. This is the mindset shift we all need to make. We need to stop glorifying busyness and start celebrating effectiveness. It's not about how many hours you clock in. It's about the value you create in those hours. Are you ready to stop swinging a dull axe? Start by identifying one skill that, if you improved it, would have the biggest positive impact on your work. Just one. Then, open your calendar right now and block out your first mastery time session. Even if it's just 30 minutes, protect that time. Use it to start sharpening. Over time, those small, consistent investments in yourself will compound into massive results. You'll find yourself achieving more in less time, feeling less stressed, and finally getting off that hamster wheel for good. You'll become the master of your own craft. If you value your time and want to learn more ways to work smarter, not harder, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.